Give me doubt so I can see my neighbor as myself. Give me doubt so I can lay all my weapons on the ground. When the armor of God is too heavy for peace, give me doubt. Give me doubt.
In Mohsin Hamid's novel Exit West, two young lovers, Saeed and Nadia, are fleeing an unnamed country on the brink of civil war. As the city falls to violence and bloodshed, they escape through these mysterious, almost magical doors that appear throughout the city. These doors become portals to other lands like Greece, London, the US. Slipping through these doors, Saeed and Nadia join the 65 million other refugees who today are fleeing the violence of their homelands in search of sanctuary and opportunity. But each time they pass through these doors and enter a new country, they're met with cruelty and hostility from the natives who already live there. Door after door, country after country. Hamid writes, "Only after making it across the border do you understand that those who live on the other side do not see you as human at all." The novel invites us to walk in the shoes of Saeed and Nadia and to ask why so many doors are closed to refugees when we ourselves might one day become one. Hamid writes, "We have nothing in common except that we are all migrants through time." It's not easy for refugees to enter the U.S. There are no magic doorways that they can just walk through, and no guarantees that once they arrive at our borders, they'll be welcomed or treated humanely. I recently had my DNA analyzed. I wanted to know where I've come from, and it turns out I'm actually not from North America. 53% of me came from Northwestern Europe, 21% from Germanic Europe, 20% from Ireland and Scotland. And what brought my ancestors here was likely a combination of what's today called push and pull migration. Some of my ancestors were pulled here by the promise of opportunity. Others were pushed here by hunger and poverty that made staying home unbearable. The majority of immigrants to the U.S. today are in search of safety that their homelands can no longer guarantee. Today's immigration crisis is distinct from that of previous decades, when the majority of migrants to the U.S. border were men from Mexico drawn by the prospect of employment in this country, which they tried to enter undetected. But today, the majority of migrants at our borders are women and children fleeing endemic violence in Central America. The personal risks and discomfort incurred by remaining in their country of origin exceeds the risks and discomforts of leaving home and making the dangerous and costly journey. Most do not seek to enter undetected. Instead, they report at border stations to request asylum from the violence they've left behind. This distinction is lost in today's national debate over immigration. I invite you into a conversation about immigration that's guided by the three core commitments to a politics of compassion: kinship, kenosis, and delight. In practicing kinship, we affirm that we are all migrants through time. We're reminded 92 times in Hebrew Scripture that we must love the stranger in our land because we were once strangers in Egypt. We may differ about what that love looks like in terms of public policy, but our kinship with the world's refugees is forged out of our shared experience of being the stranger and sojourner. And that makes the humane treatment of immigrants a moral obligation. It makes inhumane or dehumanizing treatment sinful. In practicing kenosis or self-emptying solidarity, we advocate for just policies that create opportunities for undocumented immigrants who are contributing to our society to come out of the shadows, to regulate their status, and to pursue temporary or legal residency. In practicing delight, we affirm the image of God in every immigrant face, remembering that Jesus, Joseph, and Mary were once refugees themselves, fleeing the bloodshed of Herod. And because the lives of immigrants are imbued with sacred worth, we refuse to otherize or villainize them. Consider your own family story. What brought your ancestors here? Why did they leave home? How were they received when they arrived? What is your moral obligation today to the immigrant in our midst? Let's begin there and find enough common ground to work together for the common good.
Give me doubt so I can see my neighbor as myself. Give me doubt so I can lay all my weapons on the ground. When the armor of God is too heavy for peace, I shall